So if you want to go to the simulator in the future, we have put it on the website. So just go to houston-radar.com. So you don't have to remember the direct link to it. Go to products, go to the radar data collectors, and then click on the SpeedLane Pro highway flow detector, which obviously is the product you guys are installing. Obviously, you're familiar with it. And there's a new link called Alignment Trainer. So if you would click on that, that will take you to basically the SpeedLane Pro alignment training simulator. So what does it simulate? I'll show you. So this will show you the exact 3 pages that you are familiar with if you've gone through the installation wizard in Stats Analyzer. So this is an actual site in District 1, the first one that says built in. And then we've added a few more sites just to get some variety on the training. So just click on the Start Training button under any one of these. And this, you're probably familiar with this window on the left side. That's our installation wizard window when you get to the first of the 3 steps required to align the unit. And as you can see, we have a helpful animated icon showing as to what um, dimension of the or what degree of movement that you will be setting up in this step. So here we would be setting up the level step. And so to set up the level step, we only use the electronic level gauge in here. So the level gauge is reading -6 degrees. As you can see, the road is crooked, and you've just put up the unit. You really haven't even lined it up, and this is kind of the camera view that you get. So here in this step, also in the simulator, on this right side, there is a small panel which represents the control that the simulator gives you on the alignment of the unit. Obviously on the road, somebody would be in a bucket truck physically moving this unit, but here we would just stimulate moving of the actual unit on the road. So here we will just look at the level gauge that's built into the unit, and we would set this to the level of the road. If the road is flat, typically you would want this to be at 0 degrees. And as you can see, as I'm adjusting the level, the image would move here as well, showing the adjustment. So here right now, I'm at 1 degree, now I'm at 0 degree. Sometimes in the field, I appreciate that it's not very easy to get to exactly 0 degrees. So if you can get the level to plus and minus 1 degrees, that's sufficiently level as well. Now, if the road is not level, for example, if it's on a hill, or more likely in Florida, if it's coming off like a ramp or from a bridge or a flyover, then you would want to set this to the level of the road. There's a very easy way to measure what the level of the road is, and that is you can download an app to your smartphone, basically a bubble level app, put it on the sidewalk or put it um, on the edge of the road, not obviously in the travel lanes, just put it off to the side, and you can just pick up the level of the road in degrees. So your bubble level on your phone will tell you that. Alternatively, you can just power the SpeedLane up and put it on the road surface itself on the side and just read off the level from the screen or from the advanced menu. So here we're going to assume that the road is flat and the level should be 0 degrees. So I've set it to 0. Now, one of the most important things to understand is you set level using the level gauge. You do not set level looking at the crooked tilt that you see in the image. So one might be wondering, why is my image still crooked or the lane still crooked, even though the unit says it's level? And that we will get to here in the third step. So we've now set the level correctly. We'll click the next button. And in the next button, the next step is to set the tilt. And again, as you can see in the animation, it's showing you what the tilt is. And the tilt you will set to using the camera crosshairs. We do show the tilt as a electronic reading as well, and that's useful if you are replacing a radar and you know what the tilt was, or you had saved it off previously when it was properly aligned. But let's say you are swapping a radar. In that case, you would just set back to the tilt reading from the electronic gauge. But if it's a new location, you would set tilt based on the crosshairs, not based on the degrees. So here, what is our objective? Let me start adjusting the tilt and then I'll show you kind of what our objective is. So to adjust the tilt, you would obviously rotate the tube in these two clamps, and you want to get the crosshairs, which also represent the center of the radar beams. So if you look at the crosshairs, just visualize or imagine that half the radar beam is below the crosshair center and the other half of the radar beam is above the crosshair center. So if the radar tilt is like this, even though the radar may be picking up the detections in the near lanes, but look at, we are wasting half the strength of the radar beam by pointing it into the sky. Does that make sense? Because half the radar beam is above the center of this crosshair. And so we are only using half the radar beam to detect these vehicles. So you're not going to get the best detection strength. So what you want to do is you want to have this crosshairs approximately half to 1/3 of where you want the travel lanes to be. So here, if we were wanting the travel lanes to be only these closer lanes, this is approximately where you would have your tilt be. Because we, just for this assumption that I've made, if you just wanted to pick up these three closer lanes. But if you want to pick up both the nearer lanes and the far lanes, you would have this crosshair center pointed somewhere between half and 1/3 of all the lanes. So the three closer lanes and the three far lanes. So here that approximately good location of tilt would be like over here. Again, tilt is quite forgiving because the total beam height that we have, which is called elevation, is 74 degrees. So pretty much at this location, the beam edge is like pointing down here as well as pointing like at that horizon. So you're getting a very good coverage. So would it be wrong to have, let's say, the crosshair here if you're picking up all 6 lanes? No. Would it be completely wrong to have it here if you're picking up all 6 lanes? No. So anywhere from like here to here would be just fine tilt. It's quite forgiving. Over here, we also, if you're doing this by yourself or you're training somebody new, we also have kind of what the target, in our opinion, the tilt should be, or these readings should be. So it gives you a little check mark and it says that you have reached what Houston radar says should be an ideal tilt, okay? But again, if it's just a little bit off, it'll let you go to the next step and this is all fine, right? But if you wanted to know what the ideal is, what we would say the ideal is, we've kind of said that here and you can just do this adjustment till you get a green check mark over here. So we've adjusted level. It's still 0 degrees. Really important to maintain that you don't disturb it because it's already been set. We've set the tilt approximately correctly. But then you will say, wait a minute, the road is still slanting. And this is the most important part that we have to understand, that the image is 2-dimensional, but the real world obviously is 3-dimensional. So there is a third dimension of adjustment that we have to do, but it is not level because we've already set the level correctly to 0 degrees, right? And what is that? We will do that in the next step. And here we show you what that adjustment level is. If you have a circular pole and you don't have a square pole mounting bracket, then you will rotate the unit without changing the level. You will just rotate the unit left and right on the pole, and you will do it till, look, I'm rotating the unit, and magically it might appear that we didn't change the level. It's still 0 degrees, but the edge of the road became level. Now, we have come to realize that sometimes it's not obvious to the eye that this line is level to the bottom of the image or not. So we have added a new horizontal guide feature in the latest version of Stats Analyzer. Left click on image to show guidelines. Each guideline, ensure guideline is aligned with the road edge, because it's sometimes not obvious if this road edge is aligned, right? The marker. So what I'll do is I'm gonna click over here and it puts a guideline on here. And you can see that it's slightly misaligned. This is not that big a deal, this much misalignment. It's quite good, but I can go ahead and adjust that to be a better alignment as well. And again, cognizant of the fact that sometimes on the road, when you're on the pole, moving this around, and you tighten the bands, this might just adjust a little bit like this. Not the end of the world. If you If you can get it to like this much as well, that's still fine. What you don't want is like a misalignment where if I click on the, let's say, one edge of it, you don't want a misalignment that looks like this, right? Where the horizontal is here. I start over here and look how much gap there is on this edge of this road line, right? You don't want this much gap, for example. Um, so this would be a better alignment, right? Okay, in some of the other examples, we have more challenging situations. And what is a challenging situation? Let's say you have these far lanes you want to measure and the closed lanes you want to measure. They are not perfectly parallel with each other. Or you might have a ramp and you might actually see that one of these lines is not parallel to the travel lane. So I'll talk about that in some of these other ones. But right now, this looks like a pretty good alignment to me. Here we keep saying, keep adjusting. That's just what, when we were setting this up. Um, yeah, that's not set up correctly. I'll fix that. But essentially we would this is a good line. This is the tool you're using. In the real world, out there in the field, you obviously will not have this right panel. That would be the person in the bucket truck, and either that person is looking at this wizard or somebody on the ground is looking at the wizard and just radioing or shouting them, move it left, move it right, till they see this horizontal guideline, horizontal on the road edge. Obviously, you can do it either on this side as well or on one of the skip lines markers or the far side. So here you can see its flower side is slightly non-parallel with this side, but again, it's more important to get the closer lanes lined up than the far lanes because the far lanes are a little bit more forgiving. All right, so let's look at a challenging scenario. Like here's an on-ramp, so let's start training on this. Again, you go up to the, mount the unit on the pole, power it on, go to the wizard, and this is the first view that you see. So here again, in the wizard, we have 3 separate screens. We show you exactly which adjustment to make in each screen. So here we would be using the level. For the level, you will not use the image. You will use the reading that we are giving you from the electronic level gauge. So I'm just going to go look at this reading and try to get it close to 0 degrees plus and minus 1 degree, or even can tolerate 2 degrees is fine, but try to get it a little bit better than plus and minus 2 degrees. So here we've got the level. Now we are going to go adjust the tilt. And again, the animation is showing you how to turn the unit to get the tilt going. So as we can see here, again, if you remember what I said earlier, half the energy of the beam is above this crosshair and half is below this crosshair. So if my crosshair is at the grass up past the last lane we want to measure, half the beam is being completely wasted. It's going in the grass, it's going on the lake, and we are using only half the beam for measuring the traffic. So this crosshair is pointed too far high. If we again want to measure all lanes of traffic, I would want this crosshair to be pointed just past the closer lanes. So I would kind of bring it down like this, like around here. Another rule of thumb, you should be able to see at least a portion of the closest lane you want to measure. So again, if this was pointed way out there, see, I cannot even see the on-ramp at all. And if I'm interested in the on-ramp, I should be able to see at least a portion of it. Now, sometimes what will happen is you'll have lots of lanes and not a lot of setback. And it's quite possible that there would be even more lanes where the grass is over here in this example. In that case, well, I can see about half or 3/4 of the on-ramp. That'll be a good compromise because I would not want to point it further down because again, the last few lanes would get potentially not a lot of beam energy. But if that was the case, this would still be acceptable where I can see the roof of the vehicle in the closest lane. But in this example, this is still not a very good alignment because I can get it a little bit lower where I can see all of the closest lane, and this crosshair is still, for our guidance, between half and 1/3 of all the lanes we want to measure. So here is approximately at half. So I could even go further down a little bit, and this would be now at 1/3 of all the lanes we want to measure. And now I can see the entirety of the on-ramp. Now, here's a challenging part when we go up to the square. So this is like we are squaring the radar beam to the travel lanes, right? And here in this case, we want to make it go turn on the pole without changing the level. This is really important. If this was at an angle, for example, you had it like this angle. See how much of an angle this is at, this road edge? Well, this is not square, right? So I want to be able to turn it where it becomes square. Now, what's the challenge here? The challenge is travel lane is pretty square, right? You can see that. But if I click on the on-ramp, that's not very square because the on-ramp's at an angle to the travel lane. So here you have to decide what's important to you. If the travel lanes are more important, you want to get it square to the travel lanes. If you're primarily trying to do a ramp, then you want to get it a little bit more square to the ramp like this, right? But now my travel lane is at a slight angle. See this? And see, this is where this guide, this new feature we've added, where you can just put a horizontal line to kind of give you a visual idea on how well you're parallel to a road edge. If they are all very important to you, then you set up a compromise, right? So you say, okay, I'm going to misalign, or I'm going to allow a misalignment to a travel lane, as well as I'm going to allow a misalignment to a little bit misalignment. Okay, so it's a little bit misaligned here. It's a little bit misaligned there. It's kind of aligned over here. So this would be a good compromise in this location. But again, level is still 0. In this last step, like the animation is showing, you rotate the unit around the pole. If this was not level, you do not adjust the level in the step. This is the most important message to communicate. Because there is a natural instinct to look at the picture and go, oh, this lane is crooked, let me adjust the level. No, you're not at that step of the level. You've already adjusted the level to 0 degrees or the road level, right? Any questions over here? No? Okay, let's go look at the last one. Again, just another highway. Here we would, again, you would think if you would look at this image, somebody would go, and that's we've deliberately set it up this way in this example. You would go, this is a pretty good setup, right? If I was going on the last screen in the real stats analyzer, you can click in any one of these screens and you'll get the red line, horizontal line. But as you can see, it's pretty level. The travel lane is very level. The crosshair is pointed almost correctly. You would leave it at that. But this is not a good setup at all. Look, level is 6 degrees. It's really not level. So if I would level this unit, see how crooked the square is to the road? This is very instructive, right? As to what you thought was a good alignment is not, because level was not 0. Now that level is 0, I would go to the next tilt. This is a pretty good tilt. It's about 1/3. You can adjust it a little bit, but this is a good tilt. I would not have a problem with this tilt. And next I would go to the square and see how misaligned this is from the square. You can see the travel lane is going off this way and the horizontal guide is horizontal, obviously. So it's making this huge angle. So here I would rotate the unit on the pole, and now the unit is square to the road. The level is still 0. The crosshair is pointed between 1/3 and 1/2 of all the lanes I want to measure. All the lanes are visible in the image. I could go back to the tilt and see if there's another lane underneath here. And there isn't. That's just a shoulder. This is again would be a wrong alignment because I can't even see the far lanes at all. So this would be pretty bad tilting. Okay. And I would go over here. So level is 0. Go to the last, use the guide, the new feature, click on the image, and it's mostly level. So we've now properly aligned this unit as well. When you want to so you can move this line just by clicking anywhere. It'll put a new horizontal line there. So if you wanted to check it against, let's say, the barrier, and to dismiss this line, just right click on the image and the line disappears. Perfect. Okay, let's start with the first one. Perfect. We did the first step, which is level. And we are not going to look at the image right now to see whether it's level or not. We will look at only the level reading from the unit. Yep, up the level. Yeah, please put your cursor there so that everybody can see. No, above that one. That's the tilt reading. The level which says 0 degrees. Yep, perfect. Yes. Okay, let's go to the next step, which would be the tilt setting using the crosshairs. That's perfect. Yeah, you will not care about the tilt degrees over here at all when you're setting a new unit up. You'll only look at the crosshairs. Okay, and here you're going to rotate the unit, keeping the level same at 0 degrees, and use the guide feature now we've added to make sure the road edge is, well, go the other way. See how by rotating the unit, the skew of the lane changes. You don't have to change the level at this stage. That's the most important insight. Okay, let's use the guidelines on the image. Yeah, click on the closer lane maybe. Yeah, on the edge marker. Yeah, click. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's a very good alignment. It's now the beam is square to the travel lanes. And then you would just go to the next step. Here it is finished, but in the actual wizard, it would be setting up the lanes and confirmations and things like that. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, go ahead and start with the first one, please. So here you want to set the level using the level gauge, right? So the level is saying -6 degrees. You want to set it to 0 degrees. Step one is setting the level. You won't care about what the picture image looks like at all in this step. Right. Okay, perfect. So it's set to level to 0 degrees. Even though the picture might show you the lanes are crooked, it doesn't matter because now they are crooked due to the rotation. It's not square on the to the travel lanes. So the level is 0. We can now go to the next step. Okay, here you're gonna look at the crosshairs only and set the crosshair to 1/2 to 1/3 of the travel lanes. Yeah, somewhere in between the closer lanes and the farther lanes. Perfect. So here we are looking at only at the crosshairs, the center of the crosshair. Yep, go to the next step. And now we can use the guide. If you click on the image, the horizontal line where you click should be on top of the road edge marker or a skip line. And to do that, you're not going to change the level because the unit is already level and you're going to rotate it on the pole. If you don't have a circular pole, we do also sell square pole brackets that allow this adjustment even on a like a octagonal, hexagonal, or square pole. And now we are basically turning the unit to make it square to the travel lanes. Where the beam is square to the travel lanes, the tube will be parallel to the travel lanes. Click on top of the white line. Perfect. Yeah, you can adjust it a little bit more to make it perfect. Yeah, a little bit more. Perfect. Okay.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
In that first exercise, I see the red line that goes horizontal. Is that an option within the website that you can enable, or you guys created that for this training?
No, that's an option, not in the website. It's an option in our Windows tool that we've added now. So the new ones, if you download the latest one, Ronnie, is it on our website already? Stats
It's not
Analyzer?
yet on there, but we'll put it on there and then we'll send out links today.
Okay. So
But
Well,
can-
does that
can
mean
I-
we have to update the software?
yes, you will update your software. Yes, to
Okay.
get access to that feature. Yes.
Okay.
But we've
And that's the
already,
soft-
yeah, we've already added that to the trainer here, the simulator here on our website. But we've also added it to the actual software.
And that's the software on your PC or your laptop, not the software in the SpeedLane itself.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and yeah, click on that.
Is there a way you guys can show us how to enable that?
It will be enabled. You just, all you need to do is click on the image and it'll pop up just like it
Okay.
is over here. Yeah.
Awesome.
So this simulator works exactly the same as the installation wizard will be working. It's not going to be any different. So in the tilt, we will only use the crosshairs. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, a little bit more. Perfect. And I would, in the field, I would also check the far lanes. If you know that they are parallel, I mean, it doesn't hurt to check. Yeah, here, there's a entrance ramp you can see. That's why you get a little bit of a misalignment. So here, well, sometimes you cannot help it. You have to then misalign maybe the closer lanes and the far lanes a little bit so that the far lane is not very misaligned, right? So it's a kind of a compromise. So this is a good enough alignment in the near lanes and a good enough alignment in the far lane. So it's still pretty good. So
Okay,
this is the actual installation wizard. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, so I'm in like the step 2. This is the leveling the speed lane step. So this is the screen where you level the speed lane. So we have kind of highlighted the text differently so that you can pay attention to the level instead of the tilt on the screen. And this alignment guide is available on the screen, but you don't have to use this here. Like you can left click, it'll put a line here, but we suggest that you go to the step 4. So in this is the tilt adjustment screen, and finally when you go to the screen where you align the radar to the skip lines. So on this screen, it prompts you to put one of these alignment guides. So a left click puts an alignment guide. And this is like our latest version of Stats Analyzer. It'll go up on the website today. So you can put a alignment line wherever you want. So left click puts it on there, and then right click removes the line. You can also use like a control shift, and you can put more than one line if you want to look at more than one. You can add multiple lines if you want to.
Yeah, and that's with hold the control key down and left click, right?
Yes.
Just like in Windows, where you select multiple things, right? In, let's say, Windows Explorer, you select one file name, then hold the control key down, and you can select multiple file names. So it's a very similar thing.
And then right clicking on here clears everything, and then you're just back to where you began. Yeah, so on the photo viewer also we added this this alignment guide. But then what Vipin was talking about is in the photo viewer, you can click on show file, and then it opens the Windows Explorer, and then it shows you the picture that was on here.
It just took, yeah.
Yeah, it just took, and then it also, so this folder also has all the previous pictures that it took in the wizard. So you can go there and find all of the pictures that you've been taking.
Okay, thank you, Ronnie.